Your Huddle and Flow podcast has been hot to the touch, to say the least, with some of the conversations. And this is one of the most unique quarterback. Can't call it a holdout. It's not there yet. And that appears to be, because I think, was it you or Steve who asked the question as a follow-up, too, of Jalen Ramsey, that might have been you, Jim, that this is going to be a test. That's what management will do. You know, management will say, you're our guy, or right now, or whatever, you know, Cully said, or whatever, you know, and then he came on and it was a little bit more strong at his press conference later on in the day, more lockstep with management speak, which is, you know, the test is coming. And that's the thing I don't understand, why the Texans won't do this right now, when you can play things off between the Dolphins and the Jets and the Bears and the Niners and whoever, and create this crazy market and go pull the trigger, which, you know, will replenish all the draft choices that they need. But at some point, Rich, they're going to force Deshaun to not appear somewhere, and Deshaun is going to feel like we're going to hear things that he's not a team player, which is insane, or he's somebody looking out for money, even though this isn't money. A test is coming, Jim. And I don't understand why the Texans would do that.
You know this too. It's a well-worn adage in the NFL that deadlines spur action. And right now there is no deadline for the Texans to do a deal. As we get closer to the draft, that's when I believe things will ultimately heat up. Not before. You know, we still got a lot of time until then. So, look, the Texans, I believe, went into this believing and wanting to have Deshaun Watson at their quarterback. My understanding is that the candidates they interviewed for the head coaching position, they made it clear that they wanted to retain Tim Cully as their offensive coordinator because of the possibility that Deshaun might stay out until, let's say, week 1 of the season. And if he returned at that point, they wanted him to be able to hit the ground running in terms of having an offense that he knows, a coordinator that he's comfortable with, and a verbiage that he's comfortable with. And so what did they do? They retained Tim Kelly. But if Deshaun Watson is serious about not playing for the Texans again, and I take guys like Jalen Ramsey at their word who know him, and knowing Deshaun Watson's character as a man, I don't believe that he would do this if he were not serious. And so from that standpoint, I believe the Texans are going to have to ask themselves the question here: is it better to have 100% of something or 100% of nothing? And when they get to that point, I would hope the answer that they would find is it's better to have 100% of something. So, again, I don't expect anything to happen anytime soon, but I think as we get closer to the draft, that's where we're going to see some sort of movement. And look, the other thing here too, Rich, is the Texans are not simply going to give him away. I mean, we're talking about a young franchise quarterback on a multi-year contract now that looks even more favorable, knowing that when these TV deals kick in, how the salary cap is going to increase, who's arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Guys like that you don't let out the door for nothing. And so he could set the market for what, you know, compensation should be involved in a trade of this magnitude. So there are different factors here that all have to play out for this to work for Deshaun to be able to get out of Houston. But I do believe that there are teams out there that are willing to pay whatever that compensation is to get a quarterback of his caliber.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.